And then, there's also other things that have happened in my life that also have shaped how I feel about certain things. Because now you were asking about racism. At this point, I had experienced full-blown racism, like straight up. Because we had gone to pick up my bro from work. And what happened is like my brother left, but he didn't tell me, or he didn't call. So we're seated there in the parking lot. It was in an area with warehouses, and the cops, so the supervisors are watching us from the windows, so they call cops. So where we are seated, when we look to the side, we see 2 speeding police cars coming. Now I'm with Daya, remember my friend. So we're over there, man. We're listening to Tupac in the car. Yeah, we just come from playing basketball. And so it's summer, it's shirtless because it's hot, and we're just jamming to music, and just 2 police cars come, a guy and a lady. So the guy comes out, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm here to pick up my brother. You selling drugs? I'm like, hey, hold on. What? Are you selling drugs? I'm like, no, I'm here to pick up my brother. You sure? Someone is asking you, are you sure whether you're here to pick up your brother? You're looking at him, okay, now what is this? So he's like, okay, are you sure you're not selling drugs? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm not selling drugs. So he's like, what's your brother's name? I tell him, Ngata. So he calls the building because now he has their number. Because remember, they called, so they give him a number. And they ask him, he asks, is there someone called Ngata working over there? He's like, no. The supervisor, instead of going and looking at the call log, because all the people that work there in the warehouse, they do just says, I've never had that name. The cop comes back. Why are you lying to me? I can't, blah, blah. I'm like, what? I'm not lying to you. Now I start getting pissed off.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you sure you're not here to sell drugs? Man, I looked at him like, what, now at this point, I'm like, I don't know what's his problem. So he tells me, do you mind if I search your car? I'm like, man, go ahead. This guy flipped up my car upside down. Couldn't find anything. By this time, he's made us get out the car, sit on the ground, and while he's doing all of this, and he's still like saying, why are you like, just talking, just saying stuff towards me.
Yeah.
And my buddy. So as we're just quiet, we're like, remember, I'm already out of status. So the last thing I want to do is get arrested. Because now if you get arrested, they do your background. They say, oh, he's even an F1 student, blah, 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 all that stuff. So you just, Yamaza, couldn't find anything. And he's like, you're lying. I'm like, I'm not lying. He's like, but they said they don't know anyone with that name. I'm like, well, they need to check because my brother works here and I've dropped him off a couple of times. So he's like, we're going to find out. The dude radios and calls a police dog, a trooper with a police dog. The trooper came from 45 minutes away.
What?
So we've already been sitting on the ground for like an hour and something. This guy is coming from 45 minutes away. That's another. We were seated on the ground for 2.5 hours.
Yo.
Yeah. Now that's the first time like I was like, oh snap.
So what happened?
What do you mean happened? The final one of the supervisor, the guy came with the dog. The dog sniffed. He's like, do it again. This guy's telling him there's nothing here. So he takes his dog, gets in the car and he leaves. And I think the lady cop realized and she's like, man, you could see in her face. So she's like, sorry. And she got in the car and left. But this other dude was just trying to be like, when I say he was just trying to be an ass about it, he was an ass. And so the other supervisors come. And then, so they're coming to tell him. So they're like,
the lady leaves and leaves him there.
Yeah, leaves him there. So the other supervisors come, they're like 4 of them, all white. And remember, this other cop is also white and all male. They go, they huddle together, and I think they tell him, oh yeah, his brother left. He left at 7 p.m. So as they're talking over there, he turns around, he's like, you're free to go. Just like that. But he didn't want to come to where we are.
You guy.
So that was the first time, like, you're like, oh shit, my ass is black.
Yeah. But now, even I'm so angry from your story. I
That's
can
just
understand
one.
how the Black Americans,
Yes.
and I don't mean this, I can understand how they get shot.
Yeah.
Because a guy is,
It's generation. They've seen their father go through that.
Yeah.
They've seen their grandfather go through that. And then him is going through that.
Guys, and you're not wrong. So
No.
you're like, listen, dude, I've not done anything.
No, I haven't
Then
done
now
anything.
he said he wants you to get agitated so he can pull out the next thing.
Me and Nyamaza, we Nyamaza, then we sat down.
So had you trained for a thing like this? Had you said, if anything, if that happens, I'm just going to shut up and sit down?
Yeah, sasa high school yoku silikuwa mnaambia mnyamaze. So that's one of those things you're like, okay, wacha tu ninyamaze.
Yeah.
And then, at that time, like you're thinking of like, damn, okay, my papers are not straight. So there's a lot of things hanging on your head. So you're thinking. And remember, this time I told you I'm in survival mode. So I'm already thinking of ways how to mitigate, and not
calm him down.
Yeah, not even calm him down. Me, myself, not make things blow up.
Okay, I get it.
So, because I don't think there's any way you're going to calm him down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have to say this, but he was an asshole about it.
No, he was.
Yeah.
He's not even being sorry about it. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Oh, yeah, he was. And that has started, like, I remember that day, and that must have been like around, because it must have been like around.
Were you scared for your life?
No.
Or for you to papers?
No, okay, because there's not at one time where he like reached for his gun, but I felt devalued. Like, like you feel like, I'm like, why is this guy, like, why was it your first instinct to think I'm a drug dealer? Is, and then you start saying, is it because I'm black? Because, at that time in your head, you're saying me, I'm an African.
You're not looking at yourself
how many people in Kenya say I'm black?
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
No.
So, when, like, that's the first time I'm like, man, okay, I guess my ass is black, So I started accepting that. I'm like, that's when it started hitting me. It's like, yeah, the struggle, we're in the same struggle. It's only that we think we're in a different one, but no.
Let me ask you, and this is a bit of a sad question, but does that, with all that's been happening in the States, has it forced you to have conversation with your kids?
They can't understand.
Oh, they're not there. How old is the oldest? 6. Okay.
But it's a conversation that I've had with my nephews.
Oh, man.
Because my oldest nephew is 16. The second one is 14 and the other one is like 9. So the 2 older ones, yeah.
So it's a conversation of...
It's a conversation you have to have. Especially with what's going on. You can't hide it. It's been going on so much in our country. Now, you see, and this is, I think, something the diaspora really needs to come to terms with. We really, because and this is just me speaking based on
your thoughts,
my thoughts and my experiences and what I've seen. We think we are different. Yes, we might be. But our kids, like when they talk.
The Americans.
Yeah. So what makes you think a cop is going to think that kid is an African?
And even you, when they see you, they're not listening to you.
No, I remember one day, like, my wife came to pick me up from school and she couldn't notice me. Because at this school that I went to, it's an HBCU, it's a black school, historically black. So we're all coming out and I'm walking down and I'm walking with all these other people, and then my wife is like, she's just looking straight, but she's not seeing me. She's like this.
Wadudu kona hiyo hata hapa una hiyo dust.
No, okay, yeah. See what hakuna dust huko.
Una hiyo dust ya Kenya hapa.
No.
Even here I can look at you like ametoka majuu.
So he's looking at
for cleanness.
So oh no, stop that. But no, it's, she's so it's a conversation we've had to have. We're having with our nephews, our sons, our friends' sons.
About how to behave with the cops. About that you're black.
As a parent, the first instinct is how to survive.
Oh my God.
It's not even trying to teach them what is your right. It's like, how do you come back home?
You guys, I can't.
Yeah. I remember we were having a conversation with my neighbor when this whole thing was happening, and it's like now they know us. And when I told them what happened to me, you could see a lot of people, especially the white community, haven't interacted with someone that's had such an experience. And the funniest thing is my dad had such a similar incident, but now he wasn't with cops. His was with what you call rednecks. And now it ended up going from being something scary to being something comical, because my dad is jogging and he's doing his evening jog, and this is like in 1984. So he's running, and all of a sudden there's a truck that comes behind him and these two kids, and they start trying to run him off the road, and then they start shooting. Hey, my dad takes off. Who goes screaming his mom's name? He's like, wow, my dad! He's running. So he gets to, man, you know what? He needs to tell his own stories. So he goes to the police station, and then he's like, oh, okay, calm down, sir. So what happened? He's like, yeah, these two with the truck and everything. They were chasing me, trying to run me over, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. So they ask him, were they rednecks? And my dad is like, I don't know. Didn't get a chance to look at their necks. And man, the cops are like, what? So the cop was like, hold on. He went and got the other cops, and he's like, you have to come and listen to me. So he was like, what happened again? He's like, were they rednecks? And my dad is like, no. I didn't get a chance to look at their necks. Not knowing, those are now the cultural difference. Yeah, the terms. Man, the cops laughed so much. But he ended up becoming friends with them.
Yeah.
And they knew him,
The guy
so they would see him in town, because he was in Mobile, Alabama. So where he was doing his
I didn't get a chance to look at their necks.
Yeah, no. So I didn't know how, it was funny. But when you tell it to an American, and especially, it becomes more funnier, because now it's a cultural, there's a cultural element to it. But my dad is like, okay, when you say redneck, you're expecting, but redneck, is like, hey, you can look at someone's like, that's a redneck, stuff like that. But I don't know how people take it nowadays. Some people get offended by that word.
Let me ask you: have you seen the transition? Have you felt the transition of Obama to? You've been there with 3 presidents, if I'm not wrong. Are you there for Clinton?
The end.
So you're Clinton into Obama into Trump.
Yes, and also remember I was here when the bomb blast happened. That's when I was leaving. Yeah. And when I just got in there and finished a year, September 11th.
Yeah.
So I'm there with different restrictions came up, even for paperwork and all that stuff. Then so I was in the end of Clinton, and then Bush, Obama, Trump, and now Biden. Yeah, but for Obama, what he did is people started seeing somebody that looks like them, which is very important. For even going after something. If you see someone who looks like you at a very high position, you're able to envision that.
You just know it's possible.
It's possible. Yeah. So that's a lot of that happened in the black community. So and also I went for the first inauguration, and let me tell you, it was freezing. The second one I was like, I'll watch it from the TV. It was freezing. So but I never got a chance to vote until the Trump presidency.
Okay. Yeah. So after you got after you guys got married, so now that allowed you to get into the process of getting your residency, citizenship. Are you
residency first and then citizenship later?
Are you a citizen right now? Okay. So was that a long process?
No, it's like 3 years.
Okay, from the moment you get...
the first 2 years... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So the moment you get married, does that open up residency?
Yes, they can. Like you file, and then you're given, the first thing you get is a work permit, so you can work.
Okay.
And then the second thing you get
instant, like within.
It doesn't take long.
What's a month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes a month, 3 months.
Okay.
Depending on how backlogged and busy the.
Just because you got married.
Yeah, you got married to an American citizen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing you're given is work permit.
Yeah.
So that got a huge load off your shoulder.
Yeah.
Then the second thing that comes
is your green card.
That comes a year after?
No. It's not even a year.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't. If everything is straight, it doesn't take.
And what do you mean by everything straight? Like you don't have a crime record?
Yeah, no crime, no. Like if your marriage is legit, or, a whole host of things. Like if you have a DUI, it becomes very harder.
Yeah.
Like driving under the influence.
Yeah.
Citation becomes harder if you have pretty much if you have a criminal record. Yeah.
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 Okay. So then after that, the citizenship came.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So, but when I came the first time, I was on a green card.
But that allows you to travel.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's what mattered the most. And also be married to the person that I wanted to. Yeah. But
let's be real then. That means a lot of people in states just get married for.
Oh yeah.
For papers.
Hey, see, people say it's just a contract.
Does it?
Look, it's you're gonna do.
It's hard to have this real talk conversation.
Yes, but to be honest, you think about where you want to go first and how you're gonna get there. If an opportunity like that arrives, and that's your best option at that moment, why should you hesitate? I think it's one of those things. I'm like
survival mode.
Yeah. I look at it like, even like athletes here. So, is someone supposed to starve in the name of...
I'm a Kenyan.
Yeah.
Or take an opportunity abroad
yeah.
and change their citizenship?
And no, not only change your citizenship, change the life of your family. Those are decisions. Those are personal decisions.
Yep.
Those are decisions just like when you have to make yours, they have to make their own.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I say that in Kenya, you really don't hear people get married for, you get what I mean?
It's because you have the papers here.
Oh, exactly. I'm the Jungu.
You're the Jungu here. I've interacted with...
Good point.
I've interacted
here.
Yes, you are. You're the, like interact with someone from a different country.
Yeah.
Interact with
Somali.
Not even Somali. Okay, I'll say. I remember.
I actually know of a couple of pals here who, and I don't want to mention their names, but who are not Kenyans and therefore needed. Though in now your situation, they get opportunities to travel, but they can't travel because they don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember Kidum said.
Yep.
Kidum said it once, like during the post-election, it's like, man, you do not want to see your country get to the level where he came from. He loves Kenya that much, and sometimes you don't know what you have until someone else is making.
Because it's our norm, and that's and that's why I love that's why I know some of the questions I'm asking may not be the easiest, but it's important. Unless people hear what other people are going through in other countries, they won't understand how norm the things that they have here are.
Yeah.
And they begin to appreciate even those who are not at home.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Okay, so let's go back to the music of 2015.
So 2015, we put out Rugendo EP with Kwame.